Carla Rider, the DJ chef, and I want to thank Lacombe Regional Tourism for having me on the show. Today we are going to make tomato basil pan pasta.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I've been all around the world, every city, every place.
This is going to be a really great dish, especially right now because we're going to be using a lot of garlic, and a lot of people are working remotely, so you can use as much garlic as you want right now. So it's Culture Days in Lacombe, and we are going to be making an Italian dish. Now, this is not really something that I grew up making. It's kind of something I started making for my family in the past year, but it is kind of Italian. A lot of Italians don't usually make things with a lot of sauces. This is going to be made with a little bit of olive oil, garlic, Parmesan cheese, some little cherry tomatoes, and of course, you can't forget the basil. Smells so good. Some spinach, and the spaghetti. Oh, we can't forget the wine, of course. So first of all, we're gonna start cutting our garlic. As I mentioned earlier, during these times, you can put a little extra garlic because a lot of us are working remotely and a lot of us are wearing masks. So you're not going to be smelling it. Just your family members. Ooh. Now the house is gonna smell like garlic. All right, I chopped up about 2 cloves there. All right, let's start cutting these cherry tomatoes. I usually just like cutting them in half. And you pretty much just need a handful of them. Now, since it's Lacombe Cultural Days, some people might not know this, but Lacombe is the mural capital of Alberta. So if you haven't been there, and you haven't seen all the murals, go take a drive, look around. They're pretty awesome. I absolutely love Lacombe. Not only is the scenery beautiful, but I do a lot of stuff in Lacombe. I always go to the Ducks Unlimited fundraising event in Lacombe. Listen to some great radio in Lacombe. Sunny 94. Hi, Darren. So I don't know if our lovely camera person can smell the garlic, but I certainly can. Gonna be a garlic day here in my casa. All right, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna cut our parsley. If you've ever watched my YouTube channel, I do a cooking show with my brother, and he talks about how to cut basil or any kind of herbs. Now, there is a special way to cut herbs, and you might think, what are you talking about? If you cut herbs like that, you're gonna lose the aroma of the herbs. If you kind of glide through herbs like that, you're gonna save the aroma in the herbs. So we're gonna cut this basil, and this is gonna go in near the end of our recipe. Now, since there's a lot of snow on the ground, I did not get the basil from anyone's garden like I usually do. This basil came from the store. From someone's garden, obviously, but not anyone I know. So just nice long pieces. Once again, just glide your knife. And if you were here right now, you'd be able to smell how much aroma. So once again, don't chop hard like that. Just glide. Get yourself a really sharp knife and glide. And there we go. We've got all our stuff cut, our garlic, our basil, our cherry tomatoes, we've got our Parmesan, spinach, pasta, white wine, probably a Chardonnay is good to use. We've got salt, pepper. For our tomato basil pan pasta, this recipe we're gonna put chicken in. Now, if you are a vegetarian, all you have to do is just not put the chicken in. So I'm gonna start off with a pinch of salt on the chicken before we cut it. Just a little bit of salt, like that. And also a pinch of pepper, just right on the chicken, like so. Okay. And that seasons your chicken a little bit. Now we're gonna cut the chicken, and I'm gonna show you how to cut it because we are gonna be eating it with pasta. And you don't want these huge chunks of chicken while you're eating your pasta. So I'm gonna show you a way to cut your chicken so you don't have these huge, massive chunks. So we're gonna cut it at an angle, like so. And then you have a piece that looks like that. Then you're gonna cut that in half. So now you have a piece that looks like that, okay? So then, while you're eating that together with your pasta, it's perfect. So you have your piece like that, cut that in half. And continue to do that with all of them. So I'm going to show you that one more time. What you want to do is you want to cut your chicken diagonally, okay? Just on a diagonal. It's pretty thick, right? Your pieces are thick, especially when you get up there. And then just half that. Then you can eat it nicely with your spaghetti, especially with this recipe. Okay, so now we're over here at the stove and we're gonna put the stove on and we're gonna start to cook our chicken. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put some olive oil in the bottom of our pot. Now usually I'll use a pan type of pot, but I can't find my pan pot, so we're gonna be using this pot today. So a little bit of olive oil in there. Okay, so we're gonna put the oil in the pot here, and you can hear it's kind of starting to bubble a little bit. So that's when we're gonna put the chicken in. You don't want it too high, obviously. But once you lay your chicken in and you start to hear a little bit of bubbling, we're ready to go. Then you want to turn it down a bit. There we go. Do you hear that bubbling? while this is cooking, the only thing that you need to do is just dance around to the bubbling. Put some music on. You gotta have fun while you're cooking. You see how that is soaking up that oil? You can see the black pepper on the chicken. Okay, right when you get about this point, you want to switch your utensils because you were using this while you were mixing raw chicken. So now we're getting to the point where your chicken is starting to cook. You don't want to be using this anymore. Or maybe I'm just a little picky. Now's the time where you want to add in the chopped garlic that we had. Just add that in. And that garlic is going to start cooking with that chicken. So now we're at a low/medium heat. Let's put it at a medium heat here. And then continue to cook that chicken with the garlic for a little bit. Okay, so right at about this point, our garlic and chicken has been cooking together nicely. You can smell that amazing aroma of the garlic. Now's the time that we're going to add our little cherry tomatoes. We're going to let those cook in with chicken. We're going to turn it down just a little bit. We don't want it to cook too aggressively. Okay. Now we're going to start to get some nice colors in here. See how you can hear how it just was aggressively cooking and then it started to tone itself down a little bit. Now this is something you can skip if you want. Some wine. You can drink it or you can put it in your food. I like to add the wine because it does add a really nice flavor to this. And don't worry, you're not going to get drunk off of it. It does lose the alcohol once you start cooking with it. But if you don't want the wine, don't worry, you don't have to put it in. Now, this is actually a full bottle of wine, believe it or not. This carafe is actually bigger than you think it is. We're going to use probably about half a bottle of wine. Yes, half a bottle of wine. Slowly add that. Should we add the full bottle? Smells good. You can continue to add if you feel like you need more. Do I feel like I need more? Sure. This is an Italian dish, right? A little more. And then the rest. Okay. Good to go. All right. Next is the hidden ingredient, which is not in the name. And this is great because you can hide it from the kids, is spinach. Now, you might think, I don't really like spinach, but you're not going to taste this. It's actually going to give it an amazing flavor. So, we've got our chicken, we've got our garlic, we've got our mini tomatoes, we've got our wine, we've got salt, pepper, and we're gonna add our spinach. Now this is going to, it looks like a lot. It's going to deteriorate right away as soon as we start putting this in. Get that in your pot. Just kind of mix it around. See, it's already starting to go down. Now, here's something that you need to add is chicken stock. Now you can make it yourself the night before with chicken. I actually just purchased this in the store. You're gonna wanna put your chicken stock over all the spinach. Here's 4 scoops. I've got 5 scoops. Let's do 8. 6, 7, 8, and you want to keep some extra because while it's cooking, you're going to want to continue to add because guess what? It's going to suck it up once you put your pasta in here. All right, it's time to add our pasta now. So we just have regular spaghetti. Now you might think, you're not boiling this in water? Nope, this is why it's called pan pasta. We are going to lay this right over our spinach. Okay. Watch this. Okay. Now, don't forget this part because you don't want that pasta to stick together. You want to drizzle some oil over that. Get some sea salt on there. And some black pepper. Now you don't want this at a high temperature. You want to keep this at a very low temperature. If you put it at a high temperature, it's going to all stick together. So you want to keep this going for about 10-15 minutes at a very low temperature, and throughout the boil you're going to notice that this is going to suck up all this juice. And then you're going to be wanting to add more of your chicken stock. Okay? So make sure you cover it and then come back and check it every so often. Make sure your pasta isn't sticking. So it doesn't look like it's sticking as of yet. Very low heat. All right, this has been about 3 or 4 minutes here, and we're gonna check and see where we're at. Okay, as you can see, the pasta's still hard, the spaghetti's still hard, but it's boiling a little bit. Like I said, you don't want to put it at a high heat. You want to keep it at a low heat, but we're getting there. And the pasta is not sticking, and that's because of the oil and that's because of the salt that we put in there. We still have enough liquid, which is great. And you can feel, I can feel with my fork, that's still hard. Now, if you don't have enough liquid, like I said, get some more of your chicken stock, which I'm gonna do because I can see that I need a little bit more over here. Just put a little bit over. And don't worry, it's going to actually soak up that chicken stock. This is going to be so good. So once again, keep this at a very low heat. This is boiling very, very nicely. We can add a little more black pepper. See those colors coming through from the spinach and tomatoes? Don't worry, we're not going to add our basil quite yet. That's coming near the end here. It's looking good, so put your lid back on. And continue to let it boil on a very low heat. Okay, we should be on the home stretch here. Okay, tomato, basil, 1 pound pasta. Oh my gosh. You can smell it. Now, it looks like it's still a little bit al dente. And that means that the pasta is still a little bit hard. So you want to keep it going. Now, once again, don't crank up the heat because that will not be good. Now, do you remember how much juice was in there? Look how much that pasta has soaked it up. Unbelievable, hey? Okay. So don't do the throw it against the wall test. That is, I don't know who made that up. Not true. The true way to do it is to just test it out yourself. You can break it apart. I can feel it's still hard. It's white on the inside, or you can taste it. Still a little bit hard, right? It's unbelievable how much liquid that is soaked up. I'm gonna add a couple more scoops of our chicken broth. Now, once again, if you're a vegetarian, put in vegetable broth. And I'm putting in these scoops because of the fact that our pasta is still a little hard. Like I said, break it. You can see that it's white on the inside. So we should be on the home stretch here. We're going to let it cook a little longer. And then we should be good to go. Okay, let's see where we're at here. 1 pan pasta. Are you ready? Ooh, it is looking good. Okay. See, it is just soaking up that broth. Even that extra broth that I just put in, just soaking it up. So delicious. I wish you could smell this right now. All right, let's do another test here. So once again, don't be throwing the pasta against the wall. Just Just grab a piece. The best thing to do is just to taste it yourself. Depends how hard you like your pasta. Do you like it al dente or do you like it softer? Maybe just a couple more seconds here and we'll be ready to go. Okay, so we're getting close to the end here, and this is when you want to start to add your basil. Oh, this is my favorite herb, by the way, fresh basil. Okay, so add that fresh basil. And it just gives it such an amazing color as well. And the smell is unbelievable. Also, it's going to give it an extraordinary taste as well. So you just put that basil in just before you're going to plate. Okay, turn your stove off. Don't waste any basil. And let's get ready to plate. Okay, it's about that time. Our tomato basil one-pan pasta is finito, as they'd say in Italian. Okay, oh my gosh. I wish you could smell this. Now there is chicken in this one, and like I said, if you're a vegetarian, replace the chicken with, well, tofu if you want, or just don't put the chicken in, and use a vegetable broth. So here we go. Look at that. Put it on your plate. Okay. Beautiful. Shall we put a bit more? Sure. Got to get some of those tomatoes and the spinach. And do you see what I mean? As I mentioned before, we put so much spinach in, but where's the spinach? Okay? Now, you have to get actual Parmesan, and we're going to put some of that on top. There we go, your tomato and basil one-pan pasta. Yeah. I just want to thank Lacombe Regional Tourism and National Culture Days. There is nothing better than culture, especially in Alberta. And when you can make food, you know what? It really brings people together. I really hope that you guys come back because this was a lot of fun. And I really want to invite you to my channel as well, The DJ Chef. I'm always on YouTube cooking, and I had a lot of fun. Hopefully that you have fun too. And don't forget to watch all the videos that Lacombe Regional Tourism has on their YouTube page. Hopefully we'll see you again.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I've been all around the world. Every city, every place. Always been a restless girl. But now there's a wind of change.